Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping by today. In this video we're going to be doing a full review of a neat little Seiko 5 automatic all gold, as you can see right here. And I've mentioned in the title that this could possibly be a very cheap alternative to a watch like the Rolex Day-Date or the Rolex Datejust. Now, some of you are already triggered because I mentioned Seiko and Rolex in the same sentence, but really, this watch has a lot of similarities to those Rolexes I just mentioned. So we'll kind of make a few of those comparisons in this video, but it will just be a nice, hopefully pretty quick, detailed review of this cheap yet quality Seiko 5. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like and subscribe. And let's get into the review. Well, here she is. This is the Seiko SNXL72, a really nice little gold colored piece from Seiko. We're going to throw up some specs and features here on the side and talk about those briefly. It has a Seiko 7S26 movement. It's a 21 jewel movement. There's no hacking. No hand winding. You can see it's an open case back, so you can get a glimpse of that neat little automatic movement working there. No hand winding. The power reserve from my research I found is around 41 hours, and it has 21,600 beats per hour rate. The crystal is a Seiko Hardlex mineral crystal, and the case is made out of stainless steel. The case diameter is 37 millimeters. Case thickness is about 12 millimeters. And lug to lug, as I measured it, is about 42.5. Lug width is 19 millimeters. And this band material is stainless steel as well. It has these folded links, and this bracelet tapers down to 16 millimeters here down at the clasp. The water resistance is 30 meters, and this watch weighs in right around 87.4 grams as I weighed it on my little scale. I want to do a quick side-by-side. Since I put Rolex Day-Date in the title, I want to throw up one of those next to this watch here so you can see these two watches side by side. I wish I had one in person. Maybe someday I'll have some connections where I can get some of those types of watches on the channel, but for now we're going to have to do with a picture. But overall, you can see that there are some similarities between these two watches. You know, I think even the case shape itself is similar. The dimensions, the size of the case are similar. This Rolex here is the 36 millimeter version, and this Seiko is 37 millimeter case diameter. Even the thickness of the watches are similar, and the bezel is similar too. Of course, this Seiko doesn't have a fluted bezel or anything like that, but it does have the same similar look. And even just the simplicity of the dial itself. Both have these simple dials, so there's some similarities there as well. And, you know, if you're looking for a Rolex Day-Date or a Datejust and you're poor like me, then this might be a good alternative because there are a lot of similarities. And, you know, simply changing out the bracelet of this Seiko and finding a bracelet that looks more like the Rolex or something that's just even more high quality than this one is going to upgrade this watch in a great way. And there's a great video about that from Dave at Just the Watch, and I'll leave a link to his video below where he talks a lot about that. He has a different Seiko 5 that he uses, but he changes the bracelet, and it just changes things up in a great way. So check out his video on that. The design and durability of this watch, let's move on and talk about that. Obviously, this watch is a casual piece that kind of leans into the dress watch realm. So we need to keep that in mind when we're thinking about the design and durability. The case, as you can see, is all polished stainless steel all the way around. You get to the open case back, they do not have the gold color that continues there onto that screw down case back, but it is polished as well. And so there's all these polished surfaces on the case. The lugs have a very, very slight curvature downward, and again, the open case back is there where you can see that little automatic movement working, which is always nice. We mentioned the crystal. It's a Hardlex crystal from Seiko mineral crystal, and you can see that it protrudes ever so slightly above the bezel. The bezel itself is small. It definitely has a very steep slope down, as you can see there. The crown is something unique about this watch. It almost disappears into the case. It's very tiny. It's basically positioned at the 4 o'clock, a little bit previous to the 4 o'clock position, you might say, but close enough, we can say right about the 4 o'clock. And it's a simple push-pull crown. There's 2 positions here, and it's easy enough to manipulate. Even though it is tiny, you can even just do it with 1 finger if you need to. But it is definitely a unique aspect of this watch. Basically disappears, and so I really enjoy that crown. The dial is something that I've just fallen in love with as I've handled this watch and gotten to know it a little bit. It's really a very high quality dial, I think, for the price of this watch. The pattern is unique, that checkered pattern that you get there. The applied Seiko logo with the 5 symbol below there is a nice touch. You get the nice applied indices as well. You get the day and the date window that is set in there nice and very legible, and you get the nice minute and hour hand and the second hand ticking away there. And then, of course, there is some nice lume on this watch. No lume on the actual indices themselves, but they have these little pips or dots, you might say, on the outside edge of those indices, and those are what are lumed. And of course, the hour hand and the minute hand are lumed as well. So let's get a quick lume shot and take a peek. Now, my iPhone camera never really does it justice, but you can see that the lume is coming in pretty strong here. I charged it up a little bit with the fluorescent lights that are above my little table here, but it comes in good. I think for this style of watch and for a watch at this price point, this lume is absolutely great. The bracelet on this watch is the biggest negative in my eyes. It's a very cheap feeling bracelet. It almost feels like, you could pull it apart if you tried hard enough. And definitely, if you want to upgrade this watch, just get a nicer bracelet, and that's going to do the trick for you, as we've already mentioned. The price on this watch, the MSRP for this model is $225. I purchased this one from eBay for $109 shipped to my house, and so it's a great price. And I feel like you can probably find it even cheaper than that in different places. But overall piece that I don't think you can go wrong with. So I'm going to share my final verdict now in front of the camera, and we're going to close down this video. Considering the very low price point of this watch, right around $100, as we've already mentioned, it's really hard to harp on some of the negatives that come along with this watch, like the bracelet. I think the bracelet is the major negative, but that's something that's so easy to change out. You just buy a cheap bracelet that's better than the one that came on the watch, and it's like you've upgraded your watch exponentially. So that's an easy fix, and so I can't really dwell on the negatives that are there. I think it's just mostly positives for this piece. The thing that I love the most about this Seiko 5, this gold version that I have, is the dial. I've just really fallen in love with that pattern that's there. The indices are really nice. The lume for the price point of this watch I think is superb, and there's just a lot of things that I love about this dial especially. So perhaps you're in the market to get a casual slash dress type watch in gold. This possibly could be the one for you if you're on a really tight budget. I've left some links down in the description so you can check out those where you can purchase this watch. Thanks for tuning in today to this video. If you liked it, please let us know by leaving a like, and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. We appreciate all the support in that way. And do comment below. Let me know your thoughts about this watch. If you have any questions about it, I love to interact with you down in those comments. I try to respond to each and every person who leaves a comment below. Thanks again for tuning in, and that's going to do it for us today. And we'll see you next time here on J City Reviews.